Okay, so welcome. So we got a video that I wanted to review about a girl I think she's American, and she's saying that basically she ended up in a UK prison. An American girl ended up in the UK prison. Sounds like a bit of a madness. Let's have a look and see what's happening.
So I just got out of prison. For those of y'all that don't know, I spent the last 19 months locked up in the UK. And a lot of you guys wanted a story time, so I'm gonna give it to you. So these guys had approached me on Instagram and were like, "Oh, do you want to make some money?" So I was like, "Of course." So they were like, "All you gotta do is fly to the UK and pick up a suitcase that's already at the airport." And I was like, "That sounds easy." Honestly, I just wanted to go to make content because the flight and everything was paid for. So I was like, I'm gonna make vlogs, like I'm gonna do TikToks, all that stuff. I really didn't care too much about the task itself. I was there for other reasons. The bags were not in my name. I did not check anything in. At the time, I had a friend that was staying with me. I'm not gonna say her name, but if you know, you know. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go with you." And I was like, "Okay." Like, I didn't even really want her to come with me, but I wasn't gonna deny somebody the opportunity to make money. So I was like, "All right." Mind you, the guys did say that I could invite girls for the next trip that they were gonna do. And I did text some girls. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a liar, so I'm gonna just be honest about everything. I did text some girls like, "Oh, do you wanna come to the next trip?" But this friend that came with me, I did not invite her. Just keep that in mind. On May 31st, 2024, I flew out to the UK. So we're on the plane and I get this like really weird feeling inside. Mind you, I had just gotten like baptized a month prior, so I was feeling kind of guilty inside, you know? When I was on the plane, I pray to God and I'm like, "God, if I'm not supposed to be doing this, please prevent me from doing it." So when I landed and I got to the passport checkpoint, they're like, "Oh, what hotel are you staying at?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I'm here for modeling. Like, these guys booked my hotel. I don't know what the hotel name is." So they were like, "Go sit over there." So I felt like that was my sign from God that I shouldn't do it. So at that point, I was already like feeling nervous and stuff. So I texted the guys and I was like, low key, like, I don't even want to do this anymore. They were like, "That's fine. Just go to the hotel." But the girl that I was with, I don't know what she told them, but she went through, she left me. So at this point, I'm waiting on the side, she's already gone. So she ends up picking up a suitcase and she like delivered it to the people she was supposed to deliver it to. And she met me at the hotel like an hour or two after she did that. So then she comes back to the hotel. She wants to take a nap. So we both take a nap together. 3 hours later, our hotel room is being raided by the police and we're getting arrested. We get arrested on a Friday. And I'm thinking by Monday we're gonna be out. So on Monday we see the judge and he's like, "Do you plead guilty or not guilty?" And I'm like, "Not guilty," because I didn't even do anything. I didn't touch no drugs. I didn't like. So he's like, "Okay, like you're gonna have to go to trial and we're gonna give you your trial date in 4 weeks on July 8th." So I'm like, at this point, I start crying because I'm like, "Nah, I cannot be in here for 4 weeks. Like, I gotta go home. Like, I'm innocent. How y'all gonna hold me against my will for 4 weeks?" Whatever. At that point, they take me to prison and I went to HMP Newhall. So fast forward, July 8th comes. They're like, "Okay, your trial date is set for October 28th. 2024." And I'm like, there's absolutely no way I'm gonna stay in here for another 3 months. Like, this is crazy. So boom, now it's October. They transferred me to a different prison called HMP Style. In my case, there was like 7 people. I didn't know the other people. I only knew the friend that came with me. Mind you, I had never asked what was in the suitcases, like, because I genuinely did not care. I'm the type of person, like, if I know something and I think it's bad, it's gonna eat at my conscience, you know? So I was like, I'd rather not know. But I think deep down in my head, I just thought it was weed or something. But it turns out it was cocaine. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, I've never done coke a day in my life. Like, I'm not a coke dealer. Like, I would never do something like that. At this point, it makes the case so much bigger because, like, if you smuggle weed into the UK, most people get out within 4 months. But since it was cocaine, like, we were looking at like 10 plus years. So trial comes and they basically forced us to plead guilty because they were like, if not, you're looking at 14 to 15 years. And I was like, I can't be here for that long. So I told them that I was like, okay, I'm gonna plead guilty to coming over here with the intent to to do something, but I didn't do it. So I'm just letting that be known. But I'm guilty of the intent, yes. So after trial, they were like, okay, you guys are gonna get sentenced in February. So we wait till February. February comes. At that point, the girl that came with me, she took a plea deal with the cops and she told them that I recruited her. You know, you invited yourself. Like, I did not want you to come on this trip. She had used my messages against me because there was messages of me texting other girls on Instagram saying like, do you want to come? So she made it seem as if she was one of those girls, but there was no phone evidence or anything like that of me asking her if she wanted to come on this trip. So yeah, she basically like threw me under the bus and did me dirty. So because of that, they thought I was like a recruiter, like a freaking like ringleader or something. So they put me significant role. So at this point, I'm getting done so dirty because my lawyer is also representing her as well, which is a conflict of interest. Like, he's not even supposed to do that. But the whole time he's telling me like, don't worry, she's not going to throw you under the bus, blah, blah, blah. Sir, she did. And what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. He did nothing. February comes, we get sentenced. They give me 11.8 years. I'm like, bro, what? They end up giving her 4 years. And she ended up getting out 2 months after we got sentenced. So I'm like, bro, no fucking way. Mind you, 6 months prior, she had gotten arrested in New York for the same thing. So it's like she had prior convictions of this same stuff, but she's over here trying to say that I recruited her. Like, girl, you've been doing this way before me. This was my first time doing something like this. So anyways, she gets out back in like May, and they're over here telling me like your earliest release date is 2027. And I'm like, ain't no way I'm staying here till 2027. I'm writing like letters to Trump, to the White House. Nobody's getting back to me. I'm over here texting like everybody I know, like, please help me get out of prison. At the time, the UK prison systems were so full. They were at 99% capacity. So originally you only have to serve 50% of your sentence, but then they changed it to 40%. Then like months later, they changed it to 30%. And then finally, by the grace of God, the law passed and they said foreign nationals need to be automatically deported because we don't have no space here for them. So they recalculated my sentence in September and they said I was time served. So by the time they were looking for flights for me, they were like, oh, your passport is expired, so we need to get you an emergency passport. So it took like 3 weeks to get an emergency passport. And then they told me, they're like, your flight is booked for December 3rd. So December 3rd, they escorted me to the airport. They gave me a little debit card with 1,500 on it because apparently if you agree to get deported from the UK, they give you 1,500 as an incentive to leave their country. So I got a debit card and they took me to the gate, watched me get on my flight, and I came home. They did keep my phone though, like I didn't get that back. And I didn't get back all the stuff I got arrested with. Like I took my camera to vlog, I took my Beats headphones, all my clothes, like everything. They still have it. Like they did not give that stuff back to me. But it wasn't so bad. Like I don't have to serve any time here in America. Thank God. I served 19 months. Everything worked out in my favor. But at the end of the day, if you're out here lying on my name, saying things that aren't true, or trying to use my story as your own story, knowing damn well you did what you did, just know God don't like ugly. And I got all the proof, all the legal papers with everybody's testimonies, all the pictures of everybody's involvement. And even though I'm not going to air anybody's business out or anything like that, just know that I forgave the girl that did what she did. We're no longer friends anymore. If you know her, you know her. If she's out here in these streets talking shit about me, y'all know I'm not a bad person. I've already heard so many things of the things that she's been saying out there in LA about me. I don't care. That's my old life. I'm here, I'm out. By the grace of God, I get to spend Christmas and New Year's with my family. I did spend the last 2 birthdays in prison, my 25th and my 26th, but oh well. At least I didn't have to spend 11 years locked up, so yeah. Anyway, shout out to all my other co-defendants. I'm glad y'all are all home. Much love. We did that. Okay, bye. So I was in 3 different prisons. The first prison I was in was called HMP Newhall. I stayed there for 4 months. The second one was called HMP Style. I stood there for 10 months. The last one was HMP Peterborough. I stood there for 4 months. In all the prisons, we didn't have to wear like orange jumpsuits or anything. Like you could wear your own clothes. So if I got arrested in this, I could wear this. So we got laptops within like the first 6 days of us getting there. The laptops don't have like internet access, but you can watch like podcasts and listen to music and email people. Right before trial started, they moved me to Style, and Style was like really fire because we were in like these houses. Like it wasn't even cells. It was like this big ass mansion with 12 bedrooms and like 19 to 22 women living inside of it. You had a roommate as well, but the officers weren't 24 hours on the house. So the house would be locked all day. Officers would just come like 3 or 4 times to do roll check, which is just like attendance basically, make sure everybody's there, nobody like escaped from the house. And we had a kitchen in there, so we got a budget of like $400 a week. And I used to do like the food shopping for the house, so I would order like rice and chicken. Every day, girls were baking cakes in there. And like during Christmas and New Year's, like the older women of the house who acted like our moms or whatever, they would set up like this big little banquet. It was like the Last Supper. We did like Secret Santa and we played bingo. But it was really cute. And yeah, it was really nice. Very family oriented. So in Style, they had this radio station there called the National Prison Radio. I worked there for like 7 months as a radio host. So the music that gets played on the laptops is produced by the National Prison Radio. So Style is the only women's prison that had a studio. So I had my own like little channel called The Love Bug where I played like love songs and stuff. So on my show, I played Nelly, Ashanti, Ja Rule, Ice Spice sometimes, even though that's not really like, anyways. And so I would be like, hi guys, you're listening to the National Prison Radio and it's me, Leandra, your favorite American. Coming up next, we're gonna play Marvin's Room by my husband Drake. So yeah, it was a vibe. It was really cool because that experience like taught me how to like edit and like go in the studio and record my own stuff. They also had this center there called the YA Hub, which was like the young adults hub. So anybody between like 18 and 25 could go there and do like arts and crafts, baking, stuff like that. It was just like a hangout spot for all the young offenders to go and chill and see each other. Towards the end of my sentence, they moved me to Peterborough because Peterborough is the place where all foreign nationals get sent to be deported. And it was like we were back to being in cells again, which sucked. But after a little while, I got my own room, and then I got like a little prison boo or whatever.
If you need anything of any kind, you need to holler. Name Jingling.
You're around all these people that are like considered bad people, but you hear their stories, you start to understand that like a lot of these people's situations are just circumstantial. Like a lot of people are in because of like domestic violence or self-defense, and so it just changes your perspective because the things that you hear on the articles are usually like not accurate, and they paint people out to be like way worse than what they are. When you really just meet these people one-on-one, you're like, wow, like it's like a tough topic because obviously that's gonna like trigger some people because they're gonna be like, what about the victims? And that is not to discredit the victims or to justify what these people did or even what I did. People were saying I didn't take accountability in my last video, but I literally said I knew what I was getting myself into. I was just upset that I was lied about. That's pretty much it. Obviously, you do something like shady or illegal and you're gonna get prison time for it, you know? Like, that's why I was so nonchalant with my sentence, because at the end of the day, I reflected on the person I was, and I was like, I was a shitty person back then, you know? Like, I deserve to be in prison right now because I need to like get my life together. They have a chapel there, so I was going to church every Sunday. I ended up like reading the whole entire Bible within 4 months. And prison really changed my life for the better. I realized like I took advantage of my former life, you know, like I didn't realize how privileged I was in America, and we don't realize as Americans how privileged we are compared to like third world countries and stuff like that. Because I would watch TV and I'd be seeing like these poor little African kids from Uganda with flies in their eyes and having dirty water, and it just makes you appreciate the little things. Like I never fully appreciated the luxuries of having like a shower, clean water, a comfortable bed, you know, stuff like that. or even just like having some money. Some of these women were really struggling financially. I was fortunate enough to have like friends and family sending me money while I was in there. We were working for like $2-3 a day. So these girls would have to save up their money so that they could buy canteen, which y'all would call a commissary. Yeah, they would have to save like 5 days worth of wages just to order some snacks on canteen and stuff. And it's sad. Some people had to choose between calling their family and ordering food. And I was one of those people where I had to call my family rather than getting snacks because international calls are so much more expensive. It gave me a lot of perspective. I met like really wonderful, great women in there. Yeah, I'm really grateful for that experience. Like, people think I learned nothing from it, but I learned a lot. It really changed my life. So, but in Style and Peterborough, they both had salons. So you could like get your nails done, eyelashes done, hair done. Like, I was getting acrylic nails, lashes, dyeing my hair. We were in there looking like baddies or whatever. In our houses in Style, we would have a living room. So all the girls would sit together at like 8 or 9 o'clock and watch Love Island together. And it was so cute. Like, we would just be bonding and we'd be like just watching Love Island UK. Like, we were invested. And yeah, it was a really good dynamic in the house. Sometimes we would get people that would come on the house and start some drama, but it's easy to get those people kicked out the house. In all the prisons, we had phones in our rooms, like a landline, like a little. Also, you could set up video calls with your family and friends. So since I didn't get visits because all my family lived in America, my mom and my friends would set up this app called like Purple Visits, and we would get like a 30-minute video call. The front of the houses had like grass outside, so when it was warm, we would just go outside on the grass and like tan. The girls would wear like their little booty shorts and stuff, little like bras, and they'd just be tanning in the sun. It was so chill. It was really chill. Yeah, but then Peterborough sucked because they had no laptops there. So everything was like on a kiosk. And mind you, like while you're doing all these courses, you're getting like certificates and stuff. So you'd be certified in hairdressing. I have a certificate for DJ production. And then also like you can get a degree or your master's, because I think they offered free like college courses and stuff, which is really dope. Out of all the prisons I went to, I think Style was definitely my favorite. Peterborough sucked ass. Hated it there. Newhall was okay. They had a good structure. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right, I think first things first. Hold on. First things first. I find it really interesting and actually quite funny. I think she's really lucky in terms of, the fact that her sentence coincided with changes in the law that allowed her to essentially come back having served less than 1/5 of the time that I think she was sentenced to. I get the feeling that she's still got beef with that, with her Cody or whatever. It's crazy work, and I get the feeling that she actually kind of likes prison in the UK, that she kind of enjoyed herself. And I will say, she said something about how they were invested in Love Island, and it's funny because what ladies don't like Love Island? That's hilarious. I think that it's quite an interesting watch for like a girl dad or someone with daughters. It's like, you got to advise your daughters that they can't be so naive. She's saying that she took accountability, and I kind of see that. I'm not having a go at her about an accountability issue, but I kind of think, why is she so naive as to think that some dudes hit her up on Instagram and told her that she can get a free holiday if she does this and does that? They didn't need to tell her the specifics. She should already know that that's kind of one of them mule things, isn't it? Like a mule kind of setup. So she should know that, really. Now, if you've got daughters, you've got to advise them of that, because I see with her a great level of naivety. And to be honest, with how naive she's coming across there, she kind of did well in Penn to land on her feet a bit, especially in Style. She's saying that Style was good and Peterborough wasn't, and whichever other one wasn't good, Style was all right. I think that probably them women in there probably just took a liking to her because she was, obviously very girly and from America or whatever. So she probably slid through, cut through nicely without too many problems. But, I kind of enjoyed watching that. I think that her experience was interesting. I think her experience is probably a good cautionary tale for some people. who are thinking of doing the same things what she did. I know that, you know, it seems to be quite prevalent that a lot of girls, I won't even say women, like ladies, girls, find themselves in this situation where they get blagged into this free holiday scheme. There's always somebody in the UK that's getting caught up in some next country and having to do big time for it. So, you know, it's a cautionary tale for the dads, for the girl dads, and you know, anyone who's got sisters. You got to let them probably watch that and let them know that, you know, if you're getting these unsolicited messages on Instagram, that you need to know what you're dealing with, because it can get sticky and you can end up doing 11.8 years or more or worse. She was quite lucky. She did about, I think, from what it sounded like, about 2.5 years or whatever. She got off all right. So listen, that's all for today's one. Like, comment, share and subscribe. You know, we're trying to get to 1,000 quickly. We're going to be busting through with more videos as we go forward. Thanks for watching if you've watched to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.